Welcome to episode 93 of In Touch with iOS, a podcast that talks about iPhone, iPad, Apple Watch, Apple TV, and related technologies, plus tips, apps, and gear. I am your host, Dave Ginsburg. My co-host, Warren Sklar, is here. How you doing, Warren?
I am still here. Another day,
You're still here.
Another day, as I say.
Another day and another day?
Another day. Same as the last. Pretty much the same.
Everybody's hunkering down, but you're still you were working, right? You're actually going to work.
Yeah. So I took a full-time job a couple of months ago, or almost a month ago, or before this all started. And I took a full-time job because my son was going to school and he's driving, and my wife is starting a full-time job and she's traveling. So I'm like, yeah, I'm going to start a full-time job. Well, now evidently I am essential because I do IT for a retirement home. So I am working and everybody else is still home. So there you go. So,
well, one of the stories we'll be talking about is using a medical mask, and we'll be hearing about you for doing that, and got lots of news this week. We're going to talk about hit a couple topics here and some apps, and we'll just have some fun here, huh? Let's dive right in. The first story on Mac Rumors: Apple updates Clips app with trackpad, mouse support, plus new stickers. Ooh. Apple updated the Clips app for the iPhone and the iPad, introducing that support on devices running on iOS 13.4 and later, with some improvements and fixes. You now can use a mouse and trackpad, and also Bluetooth support to new ways to create videos on the iPad. And it's got duplicate buttons to install or create copies of a clip, and all kinds of other stuff. It's in here. Have you used the Clips app much?
I used it when it first came out. I played with it and then I stopped using it. So, yeah, I should check it out again. It's still on my phone, so I'll play with it. But the more exciting part of it is developers are going to start updating their apps to work with the mice and trackpads, which is going to be a good thing when I finally get to buy that trackpad-y, keyboardy thing that's coming in May. So I'm hoping by that time a lot of these developers are going to support the mice and trackpad gestures, things like that.
Yeah, I would hope so. But it's a cool app. I actually liked it. I thought it was an easy way to edit photos and do all that stuff and have fun with
mini
it.
Video, create little mini media shows, right? Pretty much.
Yeah. I mean, and I've done it. I've created videos for someone who was retiring. I used it as that. You get the virtual backgrounds like we do on Zoom here. And by the way, we are live on Facebook as we've been for the last few weeks. So, download the Clips app. I think it's well worth it for definitely the fact it's free, which is awesome.
Yep.
Can't really say much else. China retailers slashed iPhone 11 prices to entice reluctant customers. There was multiple third-party sellers in China are offering discounts on the iPhone 11 and the iPhone 11 Pro Max, and they're saying it's a savings of an equivalent of $227 off the high end, which is quite a bit. Mm-hmm. You really think about it, what we pay for our phones. China's always been tough. I know a lot of folks in China don't like to upgrade very often, nor can they afford to buy an iPhone. What do you think?
No, definitely. They're very Android heavy over there because of the pricing, and I think they actually have a better selection of Android phones out there than we do too, which is part of it. There's definitely phones out there that we can't get here that are pretty good. Well, for Android. Yeah. And then they I think people are just trying to figure out how to start selling things with everything the way it is. Just as a side note, the website Woot, W-O-T, today.
Yeah. Today, I saw that today. Yeah.
It's probably still up there if anybody's looking for a refurbed 11 Pro Max and 11 Pro, they have them unlocked at a pretty decent discount. Not a great discount, but a pretty decent one. So I think those are refurbished, by the way. Um, so yeah, I think, everybody's just trying to figure out how to sell between supply and demand. Supply and
Right.
demand has been just unplannable at this point because nobody really knows at this. Yeah.
True.
So, yep. That's what I think.
This is true.
Yeah.
Next story, Apple ships replacement AirPods with unreleased firmware. And then what a surprise, there was a pairing issue. They what Apple did was they shipped replacement AirPods with a newer unreleased firmware version that cannot be paired with users' remaining AirPod. So this was, as most of you may know, with AirPods, we're both wearing them. The standard AirPod, if you lose or damage one of them, well, you may be out of luck because they're shipping ones with a not released version of the firmware as of yet, and this is only affecting the AirPods, not the AirPods Pro, which we have. And it's a nice thing that Apple does that, especially if you lose it. I've gone through the process, and they do ship them pretty quickly, and it's nice. If you lose them, it's a little less than buying a new when you were buying a new pair, but yeah. But apparently this is not happening as of late with this wrong firmware.
I think I read something that's only for some reason affects the right one. So if they ship you a left one, it will work. If they ship you a right one, it will be the unreleased firmware. So that's an odd little facet of this story, which it's true. And then, you and I, kind of talked about it yesterday a little bit, where I would bet, today, Thursday? I would bet by Monday. I would bet by Monday that the firmware that's unreleased will be released, because if enough people complain, I'm sure it's not a huge number of people who got a replacement AirPod within the last week or so, but as the numbers get bigger, they'll have to release the firmware to everybody so they can get.
I'm sure it's going to be out sooner. I mean, this is our current story from the last day or two. Yeah. So, I would not be surprised. Apple is pretty quick in fixing this. It's out in the press. So, on Ars Technica, we had a story here. HBO is their streaming apps will soon stop working on older Apple TVs. Any Apple TV running the tvOS will still work, but the older ones are out of luck. So the older ones would be the second gen and the third gen, and you can tell the difference. Pictures on the article is you can see the fourth gen, the 4K are a little thicker in size, and those are fine. It's affecting HBO Go and then the HBO Now app. Or HBO Go is the companion app that you get to watch HBO when you have a cable subscription. The HBO Now is when you subscribe direct. And of course, they are going to be coming out pretty soon as the HBO Max, and there's still some discussion of when that is. Do you subscribe to HBO?
We have HBO on cable. I don't have a cord cutting subscription of any of them. I think we get HBO Now. One of them you get
Go. HBO Go is the one you would get.
So you get one. So you get Go with this cable subscription, and now I guess you have to pay for it. So, So I mean, it's good to have, but I've never needed. If you have cable and HBO, then basically your DVR, not the DVR, but the Comcast or BIOS will let you pretty much play anything that's on there either way. So, there you go. And then you could also stream. We talked, the article does say you could AirPlay from your device, or use
you could AirPlay it,
or use an HDMI cable to the TV from your device.
So for those of you who don't want to spend the money, and you have a perfectly good Apple TV, the third gen is still a decent model. You should have no problem being able to play watch that. A side note for this article too is there was even reports that YouTube is going to be stopping working, or it has already, on these second and third gen as well. And the other thing with YouTube was if there's any, you can AirPlay it, but there's going to be some videos that have rights management that you won't be able to airplay to it.
I mean, they were like $99 like 7 years ago. I mean, yeah.
Right. I mean, we're talking about a 7-year-old device. 2012 is when
so I mean,
the third gen, and then you even go older for this for second gen.
I don't think we need to pitchfork HBO and Apple about this. I think it's 7 years. First of all, it's 7 years old, and second of all, there's so many ways to get an app on a TV nowadays. HBO, these apps are going to be probably built in most modern TVs, anyways.
Actually, that is a good point. The Apple TV app is still on the second and third gen. HBO is part of that app, so you could watch HBO through there if you had a subscription. That's not with Now and Go. But again, it's going to change when the Max service comes out, I believe, which is going to be coming out in May. So, and this all works on your iPhone, iPad. So it was just more of the Apple TV is where the concern was. So. Moving on, of course, another update from Apple with Apple released iOS 13.4.1 and iPad OS 13.4.1, as well as watch OS 6.2.1. We'll talk about that in a second. That fixes a FaceTime bug, and that was released 2 days ago here, and it's definitely go out and get an update. It has some bug fixes. The biggest bug is the fact that if you were to have any FaceTime calls with somebody that has a device that's running iOS 9.3.6 or earlier, or on your Mac El Capitan, you will not be able to have a FaceTime call with them. And you got to think about this. Those devices are what, close to 10 years old now. We're getting here. So nice that Apple decided to update this because that's like the iPhone 4S and the iPad 2 and the 5th gen iPod Touch. So what'd you think?
As I said, I'm on beta, so it doesn't affect me too much. But I do work in a retirement community, and since I started, I've seen a lot of older devices running the older operating system, and it's sort of a bad time to mess with that because it's really part of the reason I'm essential more or less is so I could get these people to see their family on their iPads. So that would have been a bad thing for me too. So it's good to fix it. Update. It's all good.
And then I'll just go right to watch 6.2.1. That also does the update to fix that bug in the watch. I don't know really how much that affects the watch, but I guess they kept it consistent. FaceTime if you're going to do audio FaceTime through your watch, that's right. I like audio FaceTime, honestly. And there were a lot of times when I would travel, I would use that and probably get better reception. I remember when I traveled to Italy last year. I mean, I did it a lot because you got better audio calls through that than you did through making the standard phone call.
Are you kidding? I did that from my house. I get better audio quality through audio FaceTime than I do my
better audio quality, as well as I don't have to pay for it. When I think about it in Italy, we were doing that as much as we could because we tried to get on Wi-Fi in order to do that. So, but audio FaceTime audio is pretty awesome. I must say. Apple has no plans to phase out the Beta hardware brand, the Beats hardware brand. A lot of press going on. There was a bunch of articles related to that story. You got to remember 6 years ago, Apple dropped about $3 billion. It was one of its largest acquisitions ever to acquire Beats. And with Jimmy Iovine and Dr. Dre, that were the ones that created that brand. And they've since left Apple. But there's been some rumors of discussion. Potentially, they're going to come out with some other other AirPods, like AirPods X or AirPods 10. But I like Beats. I think I have Beats headphones, Beat earphones. They make some good stuff. What do you think?
Yeah, I've owned a good amount of Beats products. My son as well. They're fine. They a lot of people bash on them because they're probably a little overpriced for the quality, but not. I think it's gotten better. I think it used to be like that a little bit more, but nowadays it's better. I think the Beats brand is still pretty pretty powerful, and I think a lot of kids still do the Beats. What's kind of funny though is I think the AirPods have kind of overtaken the
Yeah.
coolness of the Beats brand. I think
Kinda, yeah.
more people wearing AirPods than Beats, not more, but a lot. So, and I think they're more sought after than some of the Beats are. So, it's Apple competing with themselves is never a bad thing. But
No, but there's people love the AirPods, and there's people who love the Beats. That's for sure.
yeah, and they're definitely different type of devices for the most part. Um, Beats they don't have a totally they had those Beats X, which had the wire from one to the
Yeah.
other. Um,
Yeah, I have that, which I was looking for. I don't think I have it here readily available, but yeah, those sounded really good because they fit in your ear
yeah,
really well.
I had a pair. I might still have them somewhere.
But I just having this string hanging down on my chin. You know?
Of course, it was easier to carry with you when you weren't using them. You just put them around your neck. But yeah, so it's all good. Let them. I'm sure they'll continue on until something better comes along. And
Yeah,
I'm sure
Mike LaPlante in the I'm sorry. Mike LaPlante in the chat room says he loves his Power Beats Pro. I mean, I always tempted to buy those, the Power Beats Pro. They look pretty slick. I have not tried them or heard the sound, but I can definitely take that recommendation. Mike being a musician, he is those people. I bet they sound really good. So
Power Beats Pro.
That's it with the Beats.
Those are the over the years, right? Yeah, the Power Beats.
Power Beats Pro. No. I thought those were the earbuds, the small earbuds. If I'm not mistaken.
I'm sure you're not. I'm sure you got it. All right. Next story.
Oh yeah, and then Mike says I was supposed to have the wire behind my neck. You're right. All right. Next story. AT&T to lose more than Verizon with the merger of T-Mobile and Sprint. The users dig 5G. What this was talking about is with the merger of T-Mobile and Sprint and networks all being merged around and all that stuff. Sprint is got some good pricing. They always had good pricing, and it looks like T-Mobile is going to keep that in place. And then adding perks like 5G and even Hulu becoming as a standard. So I mean, they're all trying to give away this stuff, but. AT&T may lose more subscriptions than Verizon because of the fact of this merger. So I wouldn't be surprised. I'm a happy T-Mobile customer. I'm happy to say goodbye to AT&T. It's been over a year now, so I think I'll be continuing on. So what did you think of this article?
I haven't seen it before this, but yeah, no, I mean, they're all compete, and now they're competing with one less provider, so that's a good thing. But yeah,
for now,
I like. I'm still happy with T-Mobile. I've had AT&T, I've had Verizon, and as I said before, there used to be a bigger difference than there is now. Now it's pretty much all about price, and T-Mobile still wins on that. So continue on, and hopefully competition's good. They all lower. The more everybody lowers, the better.
For sure. Moving on, Apple Card. I love my Apple Card, by the way. I think it's one of the greatest cards I've had. They have this article that says that they have lowered the annual percentage rate, the interest rate, to 10.99% for some card holders. I don't know if you checked yours or not, because a lot of people had 12.49. They're reducing it to 10.99. So since the card was released back in August of last year, I guess maybe during this time with they gave the forgiveness for the payments for a month.
I'm still
maybe they wanted to reduce some interest too.
I'm still at 12.49. I just checked.
Yeah, so it was only some people. So
it's not fun.
That's what it said in the article. But yeah, come on.
I actually have a credit. I returned something. That's the one thing I don't like with the card is if you return something and you paid.
It already paid for it.
You return something, you get a credit on the card. It's a real pain to get that credit transferred to money.
Yeah, that's typical of most credit cards. I mean, I just put in a dispute for Southwest Airlines because I wanted to when I was supposed to go to Vegas, and my credit card's got that credit of $700 some dollars for the flights,
Right.
so I'm gonna have to tell them to send me a check. So
Yeah.
I've already
Well,
paid it.
they finally did it once for me already, and they actually put it in your Apple Cash, which is kind of cool. And then you could put the Apple Cash to your bank account, which is what you
Yeah,
should do.
that's right. So it's a little easier to
A
do
little
it
bit
that
easier.
way. So
Yeah. But the credit, I'm gonna want to buy something. So there you go.
yep. Yeah, I found this article interesting. Some people have struggles with AirPods staying in their ears, and this article from iPhone Hacks had the best AirPod Pros ear hooks, and they had a bunch of models here. I've not tried these before. I'm luckily AirPods fit in my ear pretty good, so I don't have to worry about it. But some of these hooks are interesting, and they're not too terribly expensive. They go ring around the actual AirPod and help people to keep it on their ears. Have you ever tried one of these hooks before?
Never needed them. Just like you.
Yeah, I've been the same way.
I've done
More.
I've replaced the tips. I bought third-party foam tips in there.
Oh, you did find.
Yeah. So
yeah, if you could. If you have any, I have not even seen the third-party tips
yeah,
yet.
they're on Amazon. If
you're ahead of
you
me on that
do, iPhone, iPod Pro tips are out there, and they're similar to all the other ones. Some say they're much better because they use memory foam. I've seen one that says it used memory foam or something like that.
Geez, and of course they even have AirPods Pro covers. If you don't like the color of your AirPods, you can turn it to green or black.
But then you have to get it. You have to get it in the case, so I don't know if that's going to work.
Yeah, that's the thing. Well, they must. Oh yeah, you're right. It doesn't work with the charging case. Yeah. So I don't know why you'd even want to do that. So check out that article. I thought that I caught my interest. So next article was the COVID-19 app that Apple has put out that gains features for accessing specific state guidelines and self-care tips. That actually came out today as we record this. They also they've added all those features by each state because each state has differences of what they're doing with the unfortunate COVID-19 coronavirus epidemic here. So check that out and download the app. That's great that Apple did this. You working in a place that's got for older folks, this is even more important. What do you think of this?
Yeah, definitely. I should probably tell people about it. I haven't told anybody about it.
But you probably should.
But it's a good app though. I did open it up when it first came out, and I went through the things that ask you questions if you have the symptoms, and then it kind of tells you what to do. It's not bad. So, of course, the place I work has actual doctors and nurses, so they probably have better apps than I do in that case.
Yeah. Next article, and this one's right up your alley here since you've been wearing your face mask, and as always it should be. iPhone is not the Face ID is not working when you have your face mask on. And the article I linked to this is from 9 to 5 Mac. Actually has an article to show you how to improve Face ID with your mask. I don't know if you know this. It looks like that they're putting the mask halfway on your face to scan Face ID. So. Yep. Did you add a second Face ID with your mask?
Yesterday morning I posted a picture of me with the face mask on saying I hate Face ID while wearing the mask, and then the article came out. So I tried it today. I tried it a few times. It does not work. At least for me, it didn't work. I got, first of all, it's very hard to have half a mask on your face without it falling off.
Yep.
And then after I scanned it finally took scans. So now I'm at a point where if I wear the mask and pull the mask down slightly where my nose is exposed, it will unlock, which is better than before. So it's definitely not, just look at it. But if I pull my mask down slightly, it will unlock.
Yeah.
So of course, I also have to wear gloves, which is bad for typing and hard for. So,
I was saying, how are you
yeah.
swiping on your
So I
phone?
got the gloves and the mask, and and then like I'm trying to do that, and it's like like it's like my phone's jello. I can't do anything with it. It's like slipping out of my hand. I can't try to. I'm trying to type. Autocorrect doesn't know what I'm trying to say. It's a mess. I need a better system here. I need Siri to help me here.
Don't say that word.
I didn't say. I didn't say it.
You didn't say the other
That's
word.
right.
Oh, that's good because I think all you really have to do is just leave the mask on and have an alternate Face ID, and then it'll pick it up.
It doesn't pick it up there with the mask on.
Really?
That's what I'm trying to say.
So you tried?
I did try. I just said.
Oh, jeez.
It doesn't work. It with the alternate. I set up the alternate Face ID. I even reset it. Tried again with the article. I did exactly what the article said with the half mask, and it still doesn't work unless I pull down the mask slightly off my nose. Then it works. Try it. Okay. Yeah, find a mask and try it.
Give it a shot.
Yeah, there you go.
we're getting some masks this weekend, so we'll try it. Disney Plus. Are you a subscriber to Disney Plus?
I am not. Nope.
Okay. Well, they've surpassed over 50 million subscribers in just 5 months.
Yeah,
and they're targeting it to 60 to 90 million by 2024, but it wasn't because of you, no. Yeah, they've been going like crazy. I mean, I signed up for the Mandalorian, but I haven't watched a lot of it lately, so probably I shouldn't do it. I do have that bundle where you have was it $12? You get Hulu as well as ESPN Plus. That not there's much to watch on ESPN as of late.
That's a bad purchase right there.
Yeah, I'm gonna probably have to start to drop that soon here. But yeah, it's pretty impressive that they're going well. And then you got others on the horizon, including NBC is going to have their Peacock network, and I think Warner Media is planning their HBO Max, of course. So you got 2 more. I mean, it just is crazy. How many streaming services do we need?
Yeah, there's a lot. I really like the Mandalorian, and I think I found alternative methods to get it last time, but I'm gonna subscribe when it comes back out because I think it deserves it. It's a good show.
Yeah. So, and then last story I wanted to talk about was Apple with Apple Maps, using that on your iPhone, brought in groceries, food delivery, and pharmacy category to the forefront of search during this COVID-19 crisis. Apple has reorganized the categories, so now it brings food delivery and medical services to the forefront, so it's easier to see it, and also tell you what places are closed very easily as well. So Apple's Maps program has always had a lot of this stuff as it is, but this is great. I think it was smart that Apple did this.
Yep. Yeah, Google Maps, and
I'm sure Google's doing it too.
They've been trying to do it too. It's pretty accurate, but I'm sure they're going crazy now trying to figure out who's open and closed at this point too. So call the place first. Don't trust the app. Definitely call the place.
That's with any app.
Yeah, don't
absolutely
don't trust it.
All right, so let's get in some of the topics we want to talk about this week. Beta this week's there's nothing going on. I mean, I was surprised. We had been consistent, new releases every week, but not this week.
It's going to usually say every other week.
The status quo for you.
Next Tuesday will be exciting. Actually, I don't.
Is there supposed to be something?
I don't know what's going to go. Yeah, because right now the beta is on 13.4.5, which is which is basically 4 versions ahead of everything else. So I don't know if they're going to actually be more betas at this point. It might be basically the end of the line. So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll definitely see. So I wanted to have a chat about the differences in iPads. We always talk about the iPad Pro because everybody wants the best iPad out there, but we haven't sent so much love for the lower end iPads. The iPad 10.2 inch model and the iPad Air. Have you used either one of those? You always just had a Pro?
Oh no, not obviously not always. I've had an Air 1, Air 2, a couple of the iPads. I have an iPad Mini still now. Certainly, if I didn't have the Pro, I would have one of them. Because I think they're a great deal. I
Yeah.
almost bought one, but I got a great deal on the Pro, so I bought the Pro instead. But they're still good. They run pretty well,
Yeah.
and
Oh no,
they do everything.
the Pro is. Yep.
The Pro's good, but I'm saying even the normal ones are the non-Pro versions are still pretty good. So, um,
Yeah. So what's great on Apple's website is you actually can go and compare the models. And I was going to kind of go through the differences between the seventh gen iPad and then the iPad Air. The Air. Those two models are very close in size. The Retina display 10.2 inches, the seventh gen, and then you have the Air, which is a 10.5 inch, and then of course if you have the 11 inches, the Pro, the second gen. So size, do you think there's much a size difference there? Did you even notice?
I wouldn't. I don't know. Between the 10.2 and the Air, I don't know. I would have to. I wouldn't think so. But the 10.2 took over for the 9.7, so it just depends on how many bezels are bezeling around in them.
Slightly bigger. As far as processing speed goes, you have the A10 Fusion chip that's in the iPad. Then you have the A12 Bionic chip with the neutral engine that's in the Air. So then, if you go back and look at the Pro has that the A12Z, which is the latest processor. So there is what you tell you is you got some pretty good processing speeds, improvements between the seventh gen and the Air, right?
Yes, I mean if I remember right, the Air, the current Air was basically the exact same thing as the old 10.5 inch Pro before it went to 11 inch with the home button. So it has a Pro processor in it, just a couple generations old.
The Air does, right?
Yep.
Which is fine. Yeah, I mean, and as far as storage goes, the seventh gen gives you up to 128 gigs. Then you get up to 256 gigs on the Air, whereas you can go all the way up to 1 terabyte, which is insane for the Pro. What do you think? Isn't that crazy?
For the storage, yeah, and the price is crazy.
The price is crazy for the 1 terabyte, but I mean, if you think about storage and what's going to happen with iPads, I mean, if you think you're going to bring a lot of movies with you all the time, then yeah, by all means, go ahead and try to max it out. The 128 gigs is going to give. I'm going to talk pricing here in just a minute. The 128 is going to add a little bit to the price to it. So of course that's going to make the difference. So you definitely have little differences when it comes to the decisioning of how much space you want. The 256 to me is plenty.
Yeah,
I mean, I think that's what I've got on my Pro 11. So
I have the Pro, it's 256. Yeah, and there's other ways to add storage. In a sense, I've seen Lightning drives out there. The iPad Pro has USB-C. You could hook up a drive to that and put movies on it and watch it that way too. So I mean, there's more options than there used to be for getting content on externally. Unless you're like a professional that really needs a storage for like showing people, we've talked about before, but people who do design work, who needs to show their work and bring, go everywhere. That's probably who would need something like that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I forgot to mention with the display, the Air has a Retina display with True Tone, whereas the seventh gen does not. So that's the biggest difference between those two. I mean, that's a big difference to me as far as the screen goes. I think it's going to be the much better experience with the True Tone. So then I won't talk too much about the Pro since we're focusing here on the iPad and the iPad Air. Both have they're compatible with the smart keyboard, the current smart keyboard, and then they have Apple Pencil support. That's the first gen Apple Pencil. Unfortunately, the first gen, I'm not as much of a fan of it because the fact that you have to take the cap off to charge it and plug it into your iPad to charge it. Whereas the Pro has the magnetic second gen pencil, but it still has pencil support, which is great. And both have Lightning connectors, which is also great. As far as pricing goes, the iPad, the 7th gen iPad starts at 32 gigabytes, and that's at $329. I've seen that super cheap,
around $250.
250 is the lowest I've seen it. So if you're really looking to get into iPad and just get something entry level, then that's a good start right there. The Air starts at $499, but it's still a that's only for 64 gigs, which is not great. Especially the fact that on the Pros they upgraded the space to 128 as the base, which is kind of crazy. And it's $649 for a 256 gig. Now, if you wanted to go with the cellular model, and I'm kind of on the fence. I've always bought my iPads without the cellular, but it is kind of nice to have, especially if you have an extra account you can put your cell phone account on an iPad. But you're adding another $150 to it.
Yeah, I've never said I wish I had it. I've never been in a situation where I was upset for not having the cellular model. Um, I just don't use my iPad that way. I have my computer with me or my phone. I've used my hotspot for my computer, but not an iPad. Because at that point, my phone, you could, in theory, you could do everything on your phone that you could do on your iPad. You just have to squint. So put on your reading glasses and use your iPhone. That's pretty much what I do.
Yeah. So with that, weight, size, pretty close, not too far. So display, the resolution is different. You got quite a difference in the resolution, and cameras. I'm not a big camera user. When's the last time you took a picture with your iPad? Somebody asked a question.
Well, that's not true. I take a picture using my iPad of my iPhone if I need to take a picture of my iPhone. So.
Right, when we're doing something. So, my advice, and that's and in fact, someone asked me the other day at work, asked me what the difference is. If you go across all three models, I mean, you think about it in the size. Do you need to have a 12.9 inch? That's a big iPad, but you're talking bigger money for that. You have the 11, you have the Pro 11. That's starting $799 is the base on that one, and then you really got to think about budget and what you're doing with it. Okay. So if you're going to be just checking casual email and maybe surfing the internet, you know what? The iPad 7th gen might be perfect for you. If you're going to be looking at a lot of photos and things like that, the Air might be the next model up for you as far as that goes. So you really got to decide what's in your budget and what you're going to be using with it. The Pro, definitely. I've looked at all three, and I'm in love with the Pro. It'd be hard for me not to have a Pro in the iPad. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I agree with you. Same thought on that one.
Is that, and I'm sure you get people asking you all the time as well. Right?
It's been a while, but yeah, I mean, I have no issues recommending pretty much any of the iPads that are being sold at this point, depending on what they want to use it for. So if somebody wants something entry level, then the regular iPad's great. And then if they want something a little bit more powerful, the Air is good. And if they want the Pro, then the Pro is great too. So there's not really, I'll even recommend the Mini if they want the Mini 5. I think it's a great little tablet. So,
you could throw that one in too.
I mean, it wasn't always the case, but right now the current lineup, it's a little convoluted. I think it's still with the Air and the Pro in there is a little weird, but I still don't have any problems recommending them.
Yeah, no, me either. So proceed as you think is best for you. But we hope that was a good segment there to give you some advice. What's going to be the best choice for you? So let's move on. And just, you had any other topic you were thinking about before we move on to our tips here?
No, I'm good. It's great.
All right. So we're going to go on to one tip I had here. I didn't know this, and you and I could keep drooling over the fact we don't have CarPlay. I can
tell you about my rental. I got a car rental today. I'll tell you about that.
All right. Well, go ahead.
I brought my car in for service today, and at Audi, and I got one of their SUVs, a newer one that had CarPlay in it. So, but the weird thing with it is it wasn't a touch screen. It's the first one I've seen like that. So the screen wasn't touchscreen. You had to do everything with the dial. But even doing it that way wasn't that bad, and pretty I love it. You know, I was jealous. I almost didn't want to give the car back, but had to. Um,
So you got to connect it to
yeah, I
for a
connected
while,
for a
and
little bit, but you know, I sat there for about 2 minutes pushing the screen and hitting setting, nothing happening. I'm like, because I
yeah,
thought they all had to be touchscreen. I thought that was a requirement of it, but I guess,
yeah,
I
I
guess
thought so
not.
too.
No, just when you had to use it.
You do it, so you're navigating it from the phone or from the
No,
touchscreen?
from the like in that articles that you sent me. If you look at the picture,
Hmm.
like that little dial thing underneath it. So if you
Oh,
turn
right,
it to
right,
the
right.
left, the there was like a little selection on each of those. Like it would select home, it would select a map if you kept turning, and then it would select the icons on the left if you kept turning, and like pretty much like a just like a selector tool, and you push in to select it. So that's how it worked.
Yep. So, but there might be times where you may want to turn off CarPlay, and I may want to. And this article, uh, this was an Apple Insider, how to turn off the CarPlay in the iPhone or the iPad. And there might be times that you may not need it. I mean, also you want to be secure, because you also could go in there, because I do see a couple rental cars I had used before that are in there. And it probably should go in there and remove them. So the way you do it is you go into the CarPlay settings, and then you go into General under CarPlay, and then if you had used any CarPlay vehicles in there, you can see that they're there. You can just tap one of them there and be able to forget this car, just kind of like a Bluetooth. Because I do recall that I did rent cars, and they were in there. So now that clears out anything on there to confirm it. Now, if you want to turn that off entirely, you just have to go to the screen time and do it. And screen time. I don't like screen time. Do you use screen time at all?
Not at all. I used to look at it.
I like to
I used to look
disable
at it
that.
just to see how much time I'm.
I have it on, and it prompts me to, oh, you use this for 2 hours, and you've been on Facebook for 10 hours.
Do you get the report every Sunday morning?
Yeah, it pops up still. I don't pay attention to it. So if you wanted to turn off CarPlay completely, you would have to do screen time in order to do that. And that whole screen time thing is measuring how much you use your iPhone, and it gives you reports and all that fun stuff. So you can go in there and do that. So anything else on CarPlay?
No, just that I want it. Still want it.
Too.
Um,
So go ahead.
Yeah, just a lot of people are talking about the wireless CarPlay coming out, and everybody's now talking about this thing on Amazon you can buy too that will make it basically it's a wireless adapter. You plug it into the CarPlay, and then the phone connects to this adapter, so you don't need the cable.
Yeah, well, absolutely. Because that's the only bad thing is the fact that you had to
exactly. Yeah. Plug it in. Although I usually plug in anyways, because I like to charge while I'm there, but still, it's convenient not to have to.
Absolutely. So there was 2 apps that kind of go along the lines of watching streaming TV. The first one was Quibi, and if you heard about you heard about Quibi, I might have talked about it when I was doing my coverage of CES. Quibi has 2 big prominent folks that are running the show. One of them is Meg Whitman, who used to be the CEO of HP, and then Jeffrey Katzenberg was the other one. It's what it really is it's a video show service that allows you to be able to watch shows that are short, like 7 minutes and shorter. It just got released on April 6th, and they started the show. They do have a free 90-day trial, so if you go to Quibi.com, you can go out and sign up. And you can also do it from your iPhone. We'll have the link to the app in the show notes, and download it. And one of the interesting things of the way Quibi works on iPhone, and have you played with it yet? Have you tried the free trial yet?
I will. I'm going to.
Okay, so go ahead and chime in anytime you have some thoughts here, because you don't have much experience using this. But one of the interesting things is when you watch a video on here through Quibi, you actually can watch it in portrait mode. So it's got the long and the video is stretched out, so it does let you watch it that way instead of watching it sideways in the landscape mode. So which is cool. I thought that was interesting. There's some interesting shows. Chrissy's Court was one of them. That's Chrissy Teigen, and of course she's married to John Legend. Of course he's already been on the show a number of times, and those two are inseparable. It's a funny spin on like a court show. She's the quote unquote judge on there, and then they just have all kinds of little short shows that you can go and watch and get your quick fix of it. I'm on the fence with this. I think it's interesting how it's going to pan out. And then you watch. They got Punked. They got different news shows. There's one called Last Night's Late Night. So they review what was discussed on all the late night shows. Shape of Pasta. So it can keep going, and all kinds of interesting, fun things. It is $4.99 a month once you subscribe to it. That's the version with ads. So it's gonna be interesting where it goes. See where it goes. I don't know if I would become a paid subscriber. One thing that they did offer is they have T-Mobile is giving it away for free for a year. So if you go to T-Mobile's website, you kind of have to find it. It's kind of buried in your account. Because especially if you have Netflix, which I already have more or less free through them, other than paying for the HD upgrade, HD, and it's an interesting app. So I would check it out. Have you had any thoughts at all? Just looking at it before you going to sign up with it?
I mean, the only thoughts is what other people are saying is kind of bad timing for it, because it was developed for people who just want to watch short little videos in between things they're doing, but unfortunately nobody's doing anything. So but I still think it has a place, and I definitely am interested. I'm definitely going to play around with it soon.
Oh yeah, I mean, it definitely is interesting, and the thing is, it's mobile only. You cannot watch it on your computer. You cannot watch it. It's purely on the iPhone, and there's not an iPad, not a full iPad app. It's an iPhone designed app. So they really are aiming this to be a smartphone type of media.
Did you hear the
consumption,
thing about the Steven Spielberg show? Did you hear the story about that?
No, I missed that one.
So he's doing like a scary, some kind of like spooky kind of show, and he told the creators, the company, that he only wanted to be available at midnight. People could not watch the show anytime other than midnight. And they started playing around with the idea, and they finally compromised and said, so you could only watch this show after sundown, and it knows, when your sundown is, so you can't watch it during the day.
Right.
So I thought that was kind of neat. So I'll check that out too, because I couldn't wait till midnight. So I'm glad they changed that.
That's gonna be interesting to see. I'll have to look at that. So, the other app that caught my eye was this app called Just Watch, and I just downloaded it, so I don't have a ton of information about it as of yet, but other than the fact that it's a streaming TV aggregator, and you sign up you sign up with the account. And the cool thing is they do you can sign on with your Apple account, and the single sign on with Apple. I'm starting to see more and more of that now, which is I'm happy to see that. And it connects your TV providers, and they're all in one place, and it's an aggregator. It tells you what's showing. You don't have to go to your Disney Plus and Hulu and your TV provider and HBO and all that. It all aggregates it into one place, and you can search for shows and all that. And I'm assuming you haven't seen this yet.
I took a look after you linked it in the article, and it's neat. Yeah, I mean, you sign in, and then you pick the movie you want, and it will tell you how you could get it. Either you could get it by streaming, or if you have to pay for it, it will tell you how to do that.
Yeah, by default, it already includes Netflix and Amazon Prime Video, and then you have Disney Plus, Hulu, and then you have Amazon Video if you've bought any videos, HBO Now, Apple TV Plus. I mean, they've got all the heavy hitters here. and frighteningly enough, I have subscriptions to a lot of them. Oh, even Quibi's on here.
Nice.
So you go, yeah. So you can go through Showtime, PBS, FX. So you can add all of these networks on here, and it includes it all, which is great. Some of them you pay for, even BritBox. I know that's been becoming pretty popular. All the British shows.
I'm watching one now called World of Worlds. It's Takeoff, the movie.
Yeah.
And it's
that was on Epic.
It's on Epic, so we're getting free Epics now.
Which is being given away for free right now.
We got it for free. Actually, we're one episode. We got one episode to go, so we haven't watched the last one yet. But yeah, it's a British show. It's great. So far it's pretty good.
So
yep.
That was that with those two app picks for this week. That's a wrap for this week. Please send your comments, questions, and suggestions to our email address, feedback@intouchwithios.com. You can follow us on Twitter @intouchwithios, or you can subscribe on your favorite podcatcher, including Apple Podcasts and many others. But better yet, go to our website at intouchwithios.com, where all the links to all the ways to listen to us are there. I am Dave Ginsburg, and you can find me on Twitter @DaveG65. Thank you, everybody who was watching on Facebook Live. We're really having a good time doing that. If you ever want to join us, we usually record the show at around 7 p.m. Central Time on Facebook Live, and so when we stream it, so you can come on and listen to us and watch us while we record. Warren, where can everybody find you?
Pretty much on Facebook for the most part. I'm in the I am in the Mac to the Future Facebook group where we talk about Apple tech, life, sometimes things we shouldn't be talking about. I do a show on Wednesday nights with Dave and Guy. Yeah, whatever you prefer. And I do this show, and then you could try Twitter, but I don't think I even check it. So there you go.
All right. And then programming out next week. Hopefully it'll come through. I haven't even told you yet, Warren, but we have a guest coming on, Mr. Barry Falk, who's a good friend of mine and is a mobile whiz and professional. I'm hoping we get him on for next week, so we'll have some fun talking about mobility. And he's got a new iPad, so I want the iPad Pro, so we can get his thoughts on that. So with that, thanks for listening, everybody, and we'll talk to you again soon.